Tell me, John, what is BusinessWhitt's Better Business Results, and why did you create the show?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you. I'm happy to be on the show. Quite simply, BusinessWhitt's Better Business Results is about inspiring small business owners to inspire small business owners. The motto is to create, contribute, and share to reach the world. Now, this came up, developed a couple of years ago. My target market is a successful business owner who's reached a certain level, has generated a nice little business, but they can't figure out how to get to the next level. And I really enjoy working with that particular client. But a couple of years ago, I read an article in the newspaper. A gentleman by the name of Jonathan Lansner is a local reporter here, and he was talking about the Great Recession and the job loss. We lost 7.5 million jobs in the Great Recession, and about 50% of those jobs were middle management jobs. These are people that are making $30,000 to $80,000 a year. They kind of got booted out of the corporate world, and they really had to go do something on their own. They became entrepreneurs. They started businesses on their own. Now, that's fine and dandy at that point, but realize that over the recovery, we've generated a lot more jobs, and I don't know how many since then, but at the time it was 3.5 million jobs had been created, but only 2% of those jobs were in this middle management class. Now remember, middle managers, people that get up, go to work hard, they have mortgages, they buy cars, they put their kids through college. This is sort of the backbone of middle class, is the backbone of America. And I realized that only 2% of the new jobs were fitting their particular model. So they had to get out and learn how to do this. So there's this giant population, that's my recognition was, there's this giant population of middle management that's out there trying to start their business, and they're not necessarily yet successful business owners. They're scraping by. They're trying to figure it out. And they're probably generating what they have to, but it hasn't turned into a real business yet. And often for many of them, it's actually a job. And so we started out to sit there and say, and actually, kind of prayed a little bit and asked myself and asked God, how can I help these people in the course of the work that I'm doing, right? Because what I do is help small business owners become more successful, become more effective and more and faster. That's really the whole key. Can we shorten that learning cycle? And so I said, well, if we were to create a show, right, if we video something, then we could share a lot of this information with people. And, basically I started to interview guests and share a coaching principle with them, understanding a little bit about what their issues and their challenges and the problems that they were facing with, showing a coaching principle with them to identify 3 action items that could move their business forward. Because I came to this conclusion, if a lot of people say, I don't have time for coaching, I don't have time for that, I don't have time for learning, I'm chasing, I'm working, and everything else. And I said, well, if you could just give me 30 minutes a week, I think I'd make a difference. And, so through this process, of a coaching principle and a discussion and the coaching process of asking questions and developing solutions, I would take my clients through on video and have them develop 3 action items. And we got really positive feedback right away. We got feedback from people who said, wow, there's things that I've been working on and unable to solve for, a year or two, marketing systems, tracking systems. And in this short little half an hour, you gave me the action items, and we've actually started to make improvements in our business. Now, they didn't solve the world's problems yet, but they were making improvements. They had moved off of the dime. And the idea here is that if you were to create 3 action items a week, over the course of a year, you might have created 120, 30, 40, 50 action items, and your business would look different after 12 months. You'd looking back and say your business would be in a different place. So we began to expand on that, and we sort of had to do some introduction. I thought, we need to introduce our guests so that the people who might be watching these things could understand a little bit more about why they want to watch somebody. And so we introduced them. And it was pretty interesting. We were doing this on Google Hangouts, right? So this is actually a live show. First time I'd ever done a live show. It's kind of interesting. But we were getting some feedback from our guests with the introduction that they actually wanted to get copies of the video. And they wanted to put it on their website. And so, we looked at that and said, okay, sure, here you go. And to be honest with you, the video quality, we shifted to an offline production model shortly thereafter, because the video quality for the guest was really not that good. The internet has a tendency to make a mess of things. So we looked at that and said, okay, well, listen, let's let's refine the process. Let's ask some really good questions. And we continue to get better at whatever this introduction model is. And we built a structured process with half a dozen specific questions that we'd ask every guest that allowed them to introduce and tell their story about who they are, what they were doing, what they were trying to accomplish. And then we could go into the coaching principle. And so we tried to make the half an hour show interesting for viewers as well as it was for the guest, and helping them to get their 3 action items. And really, as a viewer, we've gotten feedback from viewers that just by watching the show, their business has changed. Their business has improved. It's gotten better. It's gotten more effective. And we want to make sure that they watch the show on a weekly basis, because the idea is that if you just watch the show every week and you watch the coaching principle and you use that to generate your 3 action items, you can still move your business forward. You can still make something happen effectively, because you're working on your business instead of in your business. So we took the show offline. We built the introduction model, and we realized that through the introduction model and through the client telling their story, and actually we got this from the client. They told us that that's really good. I wish you could create a clip, because again, we didn't have a production studio. We didn't have any type of process for creating real videos. We had video, but we didn't have really viewable videos. And so we built a model where we could create these standardize these clips, sections based on the answers to their questions. We engaged a couple of different resources from a video standpoint that helped us kind of understand how to put these things together. And then we got engaged with a couple of different video editing companies that would then put in sort of a front end and a back end. And actually at the end of the day, so now at the end of the show, we have the ability to do what we wanted to do, which is inspire business owners to inspire business owners. We've got the ability to share this coaching principle and the ability to generate the 3 action items. And we also have the ability to provide some marketing materials for the customer, because we are helping them to canonize their message. We're helping them to understand who their market is. This is all part of the process. And again, it wasn't what we started out necessarily to do, but it kind of came along as part of our program. So at this point here, so Better Business Results still is a 30-minute show. It's still an opportunity to share a message, who you are, what's important to you. It's about learning how to run a business better. It's about developing 3 action items, but it's also, we added a 7th item, which is another question, which we asked the guests to share their top business insights. And as they share their top business insights, this is the kind of stuff that they've learned through the School of Hard Knocks, right? The School of Experience. And they're able to share that with the guests as well. So I think we have a program that's really sharing some real high quality information, but it's also doubling up as an opportunity to help the guest promote, share their business as to who they are, what they do, their services, their target market, all of those things. So it's been quite a story. Thanks.